Well, Crimefest 2018 is over. Let's talk about it. Crimefest 2018 was told through the framing device of a news anchor gathering clues about the elephant's arrest, and her research first takes her to Fort Clatsop, an old prison turned World War II POW camp turned murky water base given the nickname Hell's Kitchen, Hell's Island. Locke has received intel that someone of importance is there, and after surviving a really nightmarish ambush by some spiffy newly redesigned enemy units, we actually do it. We bust Bane out of his cell and chase him through the prison, dealing with locked gates, limited cover, and a low-ish frame rate, listening to the dentist taunt us as we make it through the doors and we find him. Bane has a model in the game now. That's a face reveal, and he's killed Kento. And then he collapses. Locke shows up to carry the poor guy out, and we have to keep the two safe while we watch their bromance reach critical levels. Locke will get afraid of all the gunfire surrounding him. Sometimes he'll just get tired. You know what happens. He's lugging a Swedish sound designer around. But we eventually get him to the chopper and escape. The heist is pretty good, in my opinion. While it has some Henry's Rock-esque issues with spawns, it's no Henry's Rock. The areas you fight in are very enclosed, so if you bring a sniper, you might be disappointed at first, but you get a chance to shine in the final part of the mission, while you snipe other snipers. Or shoot the lighthouse. You could shoot the lighthouse. The atmosphere is very dreary and intense, but while I like Confirmed Thrills, the new song by Castlevania, it doesn't suit this mission. It really does not suit this mission. We need something more somber and dark, like the music in Shacklethorn. Confirmed Thrills just sounds like something that should play on Brooklyn 1010, not on Hell's Island. Yeah, Kento is dead, and we finally get to meet Bane. He's a bit roughed up, unfortunately, and that's not even just that he's had his face caved in and he just beat like 30 men to death with his bare hands. He has some sort of man-made disease in his blood, likely something whipped up by those working for Qatar. And that leads us into day 4 of the event. That's right, it's finally time. We get to play with a new gun. I mean, like, day 4 has new guns, but day 2 also had a new gun. I just didn't have a good place to talk about it. The M13 Pistol is a lot like the Gruber Kurz. It's low damage, it's got plentiful reserves, a non-upgradable magazine, but a very low profile. It's a good dodge sidearm in a 3-pistol build, but honestly, why would you take this over the Brunettis or the Shimano 88s? Those have magazine expansions. Why would you take a light pistol without one? There's also a new knife. It's an ice pick reskin, and I did not comprehend on the first day of the event because just watch this. So, did you figure out what's happening in this animation? Yeah, that's right. You actually pop the knife up real quick, jam the side into the guy, and then pack it away nice and neat. Just kidding. You do stab somebody with it for a single frame. The animation day 1 was so hard to read it was practically written in another language. They later did go and fix it, and it's a solid weapon outside of that. Now it feels really nice. It's a good compliment to the katana. I don't know. The animation, though. But to be fair, that was, in my opinion, the weakest part of day 2 by far. We got a decent new heist, not bad, not great. Lots of plot development, a gun and a knife. Pretty good, in my opinion, good start. Day 4 was kind of a bit of a gauge. We sort of asked for this, but not really pack. It's a trinity of weapons for both the primary and secondary slots. First up is the MTAR-21, or the MTAR-21. This thing. It's essentially what would happen if you took the Union 556, made it 20 times its usual price, gave it a lower rate of fire, accuracy, stability, reload speed, but you made up for that with a handful of concealment points. It's not terrible. It outclasses the CAR-4, the UAR, the Commando 553, and the Queen's Wrath. But the AK-5, the Clarion, and most egregiously, the Union outclass it. Now explain this to me. Why is the MTAR trying to compete with the Union, a cheap and reliable weapon you can unlock after your first heist, maybe your first 2 or 3 if you don't collect much money, and you can bring that thing all the way up to Death Wish? In my opinion, the MTAR could have just tried to compete by having much deeper reserves, or it could have just dropped down to the JP36's damage tier and tried to compete there. It's not bad, it's just really redundant unless you like boxing. The Deca Technologies compound bow is a bit of an oddball weapon. It's a free bow not unlike the English longbow, which is nice, and in exchange for a little bit less concealment, you get a faster reload speed, quicker draw time, and the ability to equip a sight of choice. It gets weird, though, as you're drawing the bow, you automatically scope in, and if you've got, say, like, the reconnaissance sight on the thing, it gets really disorienting. Bows are really only a fringe death sentence one-down thing these days due to a slow DPS and KPS compared to a similar sniper rifle. But if I'm doing my math right, it'd seem that every weapon subclass now has a free alternative aside from the anti-material rifle. Neat. And then the Claire, the weapon I'm actually most excited for, a new double-barrel shotgun. What makes the Claire interesting is that it's a Moscone for your secondary slot. The thing's roughly as concealable as the Judge, hitting 31 with relative ease thanks to a sawn-down barrel and stock mod. Aside from a rather janky reload animation where they're trying to hit the levers but it's just really fast and weird, it makes for a really fine Ultimate Edition free alternative to the Judge. I would say the pickup rate leaves me a little underwhelmed, but I mean, you're competing with a Judge, for gosh sake. The thing has tons of ammo on hand, so it really doesn't eat you with reserves very often. The pickup rate makes sense. Overall, Day 4's little trio of weapons was not terrible. There were some strange decisions made in picking and developing the weapons, for sure. But I would not go as far as to call any of the three bad, just outclassed at the most. Oh, and Day 3 was like a shirt designing contest. No mention if Overkill will sell the shirts, but I guess if you make a design it wins and they send you 4 of them. Neat. Day 5 was a video. Specifically bits of the old car shop trailer that Overkill shot in 2015. If I can be real for a second, most of the off days are typically duds, but we got a golden mask and a t-shirt contest for the first 2, and this one's just old footage they never actually edited together. So I guess we can talk the lore of Payday 2 now, I guess, because on Day 5 of the event, the Great Pyramids were leveled by a nuclear blast. The other day also heralded a nuclear explosion in the ocean off the coast of South America, and while it's vaguely implied to be that these are because of Vlad, because he does have access to nukes, it could also be something more paranormal in nature. See, the Obsidian Plate in Shacklethorne Auction talks of what appears to be the final resting places of the Nephilim, these giant monstrosities we keep seeing in paintings like those in Shacklethorne as well as Henry's Rock and the Diamond. And it could be implied that... Alright, so Payday 2's lore has gone a bit, how would you call it? You nuts. I don't know why ancient kings being bestowed eldritch knowledge from thousands of years ago to live forever in your history or whatever crept into a game about funny clowns who shoot a thing, but I kind of love it. It's kept me hooked because I don't know how they're going to top what they keep writing. Wordsmith, you need some help? Also, like, I want to know what else you've done. Wordsmith's been in the business for 15 years. I kind of want to see what other insane things he's written because this... And now we can finally play No Mercy. In Payday 2. You can play it in Payday the Heist, but I can play it in Payday 2. When you first click the mission, Chains talks about how Bane's got like 3 days to live, and now he's all sad. I sincerely thought the mission would be, we bust into Bane's biohazard room, we take the blood sample, we spin it and send it to Locke. You can get that to whatever remaining murky water friends he has. I mean, it seems pretty simple. You retread the mission while updating its storyline to make sense of the current ongoings. It guts the Left 4 Dead tie-in that No Mercy had. But, here's the thing. Mercy Hospital still burnt down in 2012 in Payday 2's universe. So, do we assume Left 4 Dead did happen in the Payday universe, and they kind of just cleaned that whole mess up? But, like, whatever. So the mission is a flashback. This is canonically what happened back in 2012 during Payday the Heist. But if this is a flashback, we probably want to be the original Payday crew. I don't think I could live with the idea that Gila Klein was an inaugural Payday crew member and helped with the No Mercy job. Alright, there we go. So yeah, this mission kind of retcons the original No Mercy in a lot of different ways. Though to be fair, the original No Mercy was non-canon. Ugh. Oh god, this gets worse the longer you think about it. You can bring whatever crew, whatever weapons, perks, you're taking blood samples from a man who's very clearly not Bane unless he went reconstructive surgery between the last couple days. And Murky Water is the army that bombs the hospital now to contain the virus. Here's the problem. Facelifting No Mercy to shoehorn in Bane and Locke and Guitar would be a bit much, I'll admit. Just too many coincidences side by side, but another part of me feels really bothered that Jacket and Ethan could have been the ones who took the blood sample and rained hell on the cops with miniguns and rocket launchers. So I've constructed a handy little guide to avoid No Mercy's newfound timeline inconsistencies. See, the events in Payday 2's No Mercy are now canon. Payday the Heist is simply a scary story version, of the real events, hence the zombies, but disregard who pulled off the heist. Nobody wants to be the guy who said they fell over and destroyed the valid blood sample 4 times, so they each pin a different heister for the blame, even if they weren't there in the United States or even part of the Payday crew at the time. Speaking of falling over and destroying the blood samples, No Mercy is, merciless. And my first run through the mission set my record for being the single most kills I've ever gotten in one heist, except for missions I played with Hydras. 500 something in 30 minutes. Even if you decide to stealth the mission, in an authentic rendition of Payday the Heist's stealth mechanics at least, the heist will go loud eventually. And as the cops make their own entrances, the heist eventually takes on the layout of a matrix of rooms and hallways you can easily maneuver around in. That said, you won't make it very far as the spawns are through the roof and the heist is very, very small. So you're constantly confronting a blockade of SWAT that you're not paddling upstream in, more like you're attempting to canoe up Niagara Falls. It's not terribly difficult these days with sniper rifles and grays and the miniguns, the plural miniguns and the Brenners, and but if you're playing Death Sentence, I can only assume you'll never be able to actually get the blood sample to the elevator. Oh, and you can beat the heist in 20 seconds by falling out of bounds? On any difficulty? So is that how you beat it on Death Sentence? My thoughts on No Mercy are a bit mixed. The presentation as a flashback is really confusing and weird, I'll be honest, but it's still a fun heist, and it's great to mow down a hallway for half an hour and walk out scot-free. And hey, we got Bane's Guide. That's, no. Oh, Duke. Ooh, Duke, I'm sorry, man. Don't look at that. Code Silver 2018 is the new heist track for No Mercy. Simon Viklund pumped up the jam, and it's super, super great. I mean, it's always been great, but now it's super, super great. There's also a syringe full of green goopy goop that acts like a reskin of the kunai. It poisons them, and they eventually fall over, vomiting and dying. Nifty, so now every major melee subclass has a free variant as well. Thanks, Overkill. Day 7, Halloween, brought us a Twitch stream, but 4 Overkill devs kind of just played Operation for an hour. Okay. You think Halloween would give you something else? So that brings us to the end of the event, Day 8. The President of the United States, this guy, Mr. 46, who raises an awful lot of questions about what Donald Trump did differently in the Payday universe compared to ours. If not just him, but his entire chain of command was dismantled and they had to find some other replacement like 40 steps down. But Mr. 46 crashed somewhere near the California-Oregon border and is declared missing. During this, there's also been very high radiation all throughout DC, and Bane sees this as the perfect opportunity to conduct the mother of all heists. We're breaking into the White House and stealing pardons, a dying man's request. This heist can be approached in both stealth and loud, for the most part, and while I feel that running and gunning in the Oval Office feels a bit weird, I have little tolerance for stealth, so we're doing this loud. But with that said, complete the first segment of this heist, like unlock the West Wing by hacking the electrical boxes. It's so much faster in stealth. You can just snip your way through wires and disable the security. Whereas with loud, you need to hack the boxes, which takes 2 minutes. I'll also mention now that if you cut one but then went loud, you also need to hack it. I seemingly have a very, very nasty habit of avoiding the 0 out of 2 objectives text. Oh, hey, the enemies in this map are all the Murky SWAT like in Hell's Island. I mean, they hired Murky Water to defend the White House. I guess our own army isn't enough. We had to hire a private company. But you get to see them again. That's neat. So once you get there, we get a return of the corded drill from this heist's counterfeit, and you defend the drill in 2 power boxes, but it really can't jam otherwise, and then we can get the pardons and leave. It's a short but simple a key card. We're not done yet. Get back to the library, running through the garden, because they drive a truck through the, Okay. Rifle through the books, and I will admit, this is probably the funniest thing in Payday 2. You just kind of throw them on the ground. It's like watching a cat dismantle a room. You press a button, and you enter an airlock to the Presidential Emergency Operations Center, which looks maybe a little bit too much like Beneath the Mountain. And you get to hacking a vault. You've got to keep the power on while avoiding 2 sentry turrets and a plethora of murkies and tear gas. And if you get shot down by the turret, then you better hope someone in your crew has Inspire, otherwise there really is no saving you. Unless they also have Swan Song. This command center in the PIOC is Henry's Rock levels of brutal. It's really, frankly, ridiculous. But once the vault opens up, you're greeted at the sight of 24 unsigned presidential pardons. Take them all one by one and head back out the way you came. Locke mentions that the Piak could withstand a nuke, so I was expecting to see the White House reduced to a crater when it opened back up. But no, everything's the same. Head back out, hack some anti-air defenses for Locke to land, and we did it. I mean, there's still radiation in DC, nuclear blasts, the level of pyramids, the president's missing, but Oh, we unlocked a new cutscene. So Bane's dead, and I guess we just have to assume the crew retired. But did Dallas drop his mask in the grave? Did Dallas toss his mask? But did Dallas toss his mask in the grave? But did Dallas toss his mask in the grave? Did that? No clue. So is this the end or isn't it? Like, Overkill extended development into the fall of 2019. We've got all these loose ends. And once the end appears, you're just dumped back to the menu, which is probably still playing the April Fool's Payday song. What was that thing Bane said about either retiring to Mexico or sticking around and digging deeper?
Looks like they got me, and you gotta assume I'm dead. Should have paid more attention in Vegas. Locke has probably filled you in on some things by now. I didn't want to keep you in the dark about this secret society crap, but there was a lot I didn't know. Either retire to an island somewhere, let the world sort itself out, then hope this shit doesn't follow you, or keep going. Help Locke finish what I started. Find Baldwin's lament. Remember, guys, whatever happens, trust your partners.
We've kind of digged really frickin' deep here. We have a spinning anti-gravity orb now. This can't be the end, can it? Okay, the orb stopped. Tell me more. These are achievements. Wait, let's just... Okay, there's a whole list of achievements here. Let's take a look. I don't want to do that one. Not right now. Like, if I tried to grab my own footage for this mission, it might push this video back by, like, a couple weeks. So instead, I'm gonna borrow some sparse footage from the event, throw up the name of the person who provided this footage, because... Oh boy. Thank you. I'm not going to spoil the secret ending of the White House heist. Not in full. But if you complete the achievements the spinny thing gives you and join a lobby with other people, you can potentially witness the painting in the Piak glowing. Remove the painting and you get some C4, which you then take to a mine shaft. Ride a little lift down to this, the secret. A massive vault you open by solving 4 riddles written in Qatari, while fighting Nephilim. But inside is the Ark of the Watcher, and should you work to claim it, you get the true ending. The crew gets to retire, the Qatari is stopped, and America, let's do this. Oh, wait, either way, Payday 2 is over. Crimefest 2018 is a bit of a mess, honestly, and it's primarily because they hit us with day 8 and 10 being the end of the game with, like, no warning. There was no real warning, no real fanfare aside from the White House heist. It's kind of a bad move, in my opinion. This wasn't sold to us as the last Crimefest. This wasn't played up as something bigger than it was. And honestly, if you cut Bane's dialogue on the ending screen of White House heist and the live-action cutscenes, it really just reads as another Payday event. I could see way more opportunities to follow plot here. They nuked 2 of the final resting places of the Nephilim, but there were 2 more. What happened to them? No idea. I just thought we'd get a bigger send-off in terms of presentation and publicity, in my opinion. Like, Payday 2 was a game millions have played between 2013 and now. How crazy would it have been if they announced that the 4th annual Crimefest was the final Crimefest, and they interviewed players ranging from people who tried it once or twice back when it launched, like Proton John or Pro Jared, all the way up to people who make a living talking about their experience. That would have been a great way to send the game off and would have revitalized it in its final major moments with a huge surge in players and love. But let's just compare what this Crimefest actually offered up, though. 3 heists, one of which was a direct port of No Mercy, but 2 completely original jobs. A kind of meh pistol AR combo, but a new bow, a secondary shotgun I really like. A new 450 charge damage melee. A new poison melee as well. 2 La Castlevania tracks, a really good Simon Viklin track. in the end. How was the actual final Crimefest? Well, I can safely say it's a better event than Spring Break this year. Better presentation, better missions, favoring quality over quantity, unlike Spring Break's color patterns for masks and akimbo weapons. And because it didn't include an anemic game mode, it's a better event than Icebreaker. Also, isn't it weird how we only got like 2 masks this Crimefest? I expected a showering of masks I wasn't actually going to use like usual with these events. Actually, I'll admit I actually really like the masks in Lock and Load. Storyline's a helpful addition for newer players, picking the game up on sale. Duke's a great addition. He's really well voiced. He's got great characterization. And I still use the Grim and the Crosskill Guard. The only real issue I have with Lock and Load was its heists, but even past that, the search for Kento offered up an amazing game mode, improvements to the AI bots, and while it only had 2 weapons, 3 with the pencil, those were 3 weapons I still see plenty of. 2 classic heists that were better than ever, they brought back the color grading from Payday the Heist, and it brought us Rhubarb. No Crimefest could ever top Hoxton's Housewarming, and I'd hesitate to call Crimefest 2018 a solid 2nd or 3rd place contender. But for this being the last one of these, it's a bit of a shame. That said, I still do think some individual elements were amazing. I always loved the live action cutscenes, we got tons of them now. We got so many solid heists, we got a decent assortment of weaponry, and we got the secret. It doesn't pay out well, let alone at overdrill levels of good, but hey, you dim some, you lose some. If nothing else, Crimefest 2018 will go down in infamy for its audacity. Demons, ancient alien technology, collapsing an ancient organization mere steps from taking over the world through literally becoming president. That's the sort of insanity I've been waiting for this game to hit. Yeah, man. Payday 2 is over. Wait. Oh no. Payday 2 is over. Oh, we're gonna have to talk about that one later. Not here. This video is massive. Jesus, but this is the last one of these I get to make. This is the last one of these I get to make. But now let's see the storm clouds for the rainbow and meet back here sometime. Okay. Take care. See you soon.